Hey, yo, what's up? You know, this is the one and the only Professor L live in the LAB, live on Team GRF TV. And I'd like to welcome you guys back to another installment of Triple the Guy Street Song. Come on, get on up in here, dog. Class is about to begin. Get them ladder coats on, make sure they're nice and spiffy, make sure you're nice and thorough, and please stay away from the L experiments. Those things are very expensive, and you don't want to catch no L because we experiment with L because, yo, L's are a science. Asses in seats, eyes on the board. Uchu Sentai Kyuranger, Space.40, opening event, Deathball of Hell. Okay, if I'm going to just quickly summarize this episode, I'm going to summarize it with something so throwback, ain't nobody going to know what I'm talking about. I'm going to summarize it so hard, you're going to need to Google what it is that I'm about to rap with y'all. This wasn't nothing but Rock and Jock baseball. And I don't know if y'all know about the Rock and Jock series throwback stuff, but I suggest you Google it because it was a lot of that in this episode, and that was my law takeaway from this episode. But in due honesty, this was the Sanji JR come up episode. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're due for one of those. You're also due for your sports related episode in your Sentai, and it's just baseball. When I think about it, most of the time it's baseball. The last time I remember it wasn't baseball was Kyuranger because they straight hit the hoops that season. They straight was shooting the rock, hitting with the crossover. The J, shoot the J. Shout out the Chappelle Show, but yo, it's that time. We are getting to the end of Sentai, and this is usually when those episodes, usually in the end game, is where you get your sports episode, and we got one here. The synopsis of the episode can be summarized like this: is that the Kyurangers play baseball against Dark Matter. It gets really weird, you know what I'm saying, with Metal Madarka, with her Metal Titch starts dumping at people, and it was kind of like one point in that episode, I swear, she shot Naga Dog and nothing happened to the boy, and I'm like, yo, is that boy bulletproof or something? I don't know. Like, the episode with the way they was clowning was all over the place. You had early on, you had my boo Raptor Bay sitting up here, hitting the star change and flying up in the air like this. Super Baseball 2020. There are going to be a lot of video game references in this episode, so just don't worry about it. Like, I sit up here, I don't remember the last time I played Super Baseball 2020. Hold up. Note to self. Play Super Baseball 2020. Also note to self. Play Base Wars. You should, your homework assignment in this video, go play Base Wars on the NES. That game is awesome! And awesome in a way where it's kind of like a combination between baseball and hockey fights. And it's really cool. And there are robots and gun tricks. Base Wars is an underrated Nintendo game. How about we insert that in here, and that should get you to do your homework. Because one of these days, man, I'm gonna have to sit down and I'm gonna have to show y'all some Base Wars, man. I probably own that game, bought it on accident years ago, and I love it. So just putting it out there, putting that Base Wars love out there in the streets. Other baseball video game wrestlers I had at some point, I remember One Piece had a baseball game on the Game Boy Advance. That is a thing. That is a thing. Yes, I have considered buying MLB The Show 17 because it had that Ken Griffey Jr. mode in it. Things I've thought about. I also thought about, I remember they remade Bases Loaded for the PS4, but it never came out in America, so that's something I'm going to have to show you. They rebrought, but they throw back RBI baseball for reasons no one gets and or understands. Famista, and if you guys haven't realized, I upload a lot of Famista trailers. I love the Family Stadium series and the World Stadium series. I love that stuff. Those games are off the chain, and it's like, my love for those games knows no bounds. I buy them when they come out. I play them and have fun. Love playing the Namco All-Star Team. I wish those games came out in America more. I'm like, hell, even Konami tries to throw Power Pro Kun at the U.S., and it was just like, no. NES baseball is amazing. Like, if I had a top 200, because I don't know if baseball would be in the top 100, but if let's say a top 200, NES baseball would be in there. I have played that game for hours on end, and it gets really crazy when you play it on an emulator because you can press left and right at the same time, and you can do weird stuff with that. Am I missing any other baseball references? The Mario baseball games, they were pretty good. Let me see. I'm like, I don't go to Tecmo for baseball. I go to them more for football. I go to them for the Tecmo Bowl series. Like, they basketball games was alright. Tecmo Ball off the chain always will be. Other baseball games. Hardball 3 on the PC and Sega Genesis. Love those games. Love them. I'm like, back in the day, when I was in 8th grade, I had found like a bootleg copy on the internet, full version of Hardball 3, right? We used to sit up and put money on home run derbies, yo. Like, yo, put your lunch money up. Like, who got it? Throw back. Baseball games. I'm like, when you get into like later generations of systems or whatever, baseball is baseball, and it's gonna be that. I'm like, you had 2K was doing this thing for years. I'm trying to think. The only baseball game we technically get now for real is the show. I think that's the only baseball game we get now is the show. And then you have the little things like you got Out of the Park baseball, and we talked about RBI baseball. I really want to play that PS4 bases loaded thing. I really want to do that, and I have a feeling we'll be doing that early next year just because it's on my mind. Yes, I know. This episode was an episode, and I have to, fill time with talking to you about baseball games because, this is my show. I can do that, but yeah, go play Base Wars. Go do that. Go play Base Wars. Do that. Just putting that out there. Back to the episode. Like I said earlier, this was the Sanji JR come up episode because it's like no one knows how to play baseball. I'm like, like I said, this episode was crazy. I'm like, that boy Lucky got Nancy Kerrigan, dog. I'm like, yo, they set up or hit this fool with the Nancy Kerrigan, bro. And I'm just like, what? Like, yo, this show no nose bound. No bounds, bro. They set up her hemmed up the boy Lucky and hit him with the dirty work. They like smacked this dude. They smacked this dude repeatedly with a bat, dude. I'm like, Tanya Harding gay. And I'm just like, word? I'm like, the minister, he threw a bat and he hit 5 people. I'm like, at some point, Madako straight hit a ball and like 8 of them appeared. And I'm just like, yo, this is off the chain. This is just off the meter for me. I'm like, I appreciate episodes like this because of the absurdity of what you looking at, right? And it's like, I'm not saying that in absurdity in that way, but it's just like, I'm sitting up here and I'm watching this, and it's like, yo, it's the annual sports episode of Sentai, and it's like, I always look at these episodes as a mini break, you know what I'm saying? But at least it was sort of plot relevant in the instance of we need the Cassiopeia Kyutama, so we got that. Oh, and for bonus, Go Ranger references, because, the world is better with Go Ranger references. Except it was a football, technically, and something about Big One's a pimp. I don't write this stuff. I just report the news. That's what I do. Just saying. This was a fun episode. And I'm like, because we are in the end game, it ain't going to be too many more of these fun episodes. So that's why, you know what I'm saying? When I think about it over the years of the episodes that have that do the sports episode or whatever near the end, those are just like a little palate cleanser to get you ready, because it's finna be nothing but drama from here on out. Until we get to the new joint. And I ain't really heard much about the new joint since I heard about the new joint months ago. But it's like, it's probably going to start ramping up in your toy magazines any day now. So be staying tuned for that. The thing, though, is that because this was and is an episode about that boy of the come up, the one and the only Sanji JR, a.k.a. I cook that crack rock work. He's sitting up here like, can't even swing. And it's like, this is what y'all building to. This is what y'all building on. This is what y'all want to do, right? Sanji JR, he can't swing. I'm sitting up here when it was time for him to have his dramatic moment. I'm thinking he about to take one to the dome, right? Like, he finna sit up here. But it's like, I'm thinking about it in baseball terms, is that it's still going to be bases loaded. He transformed and grab it with the sword part of his helmet and then just throw it. And I'm just like, Sentai. Sentai. Yep, that's what it is. Other thing that I wanted to mention, I thought it was kind of odd that before I realized what they were doing, that they assembled Kyuranger. But then I realized Kyuranger, cue balls or whatever, and then, you know what I'm saying, and then they did a baseball finisher. I'm like, it took me like a couple of seconds, like, while that transformation is happening. Like, yo, why that boy Lucky ain't sitting up here calling out his little homie, though, Caesar. Yo, Caesar, get over here. Like a Super Saiyan, change you and sit up here and just do the work rape. No. They did a baseball finisher. And the day was saved thanks to Bubbles, the rest of the Powerpuff Girls, and baseball. Which won't. I'm like, again, like I said, this was just one of those episodes where, you know what I'm saying, the episode was what it was, and there's not really a lot to analyze. Well, there is one more thing, you know. Raptor Bay loves her boo, Sanji J.R. She's sitting up here like, oh, my husbando, please hit the balls, tear. And I'm just like, I remember when I loved you, girl. Why you do this to me? Why you break my heart? But yo, I'm like, again, like I said, this was just an episode of Kyuranger. It just happened to be the episode where, again, like I say, where the Sentai does the sports thing. Again, like I said, there's nothing really for real here to really analyze, because it was just a fun, straightforward, let's build someone up episode with a crazy little finish, and then, you know, then Minister gets worked over. At some point, I'm like, yo, I gotta give it up to the Minister, though. He was sitting up there throwing them dumb balls, right? Dumb ignorant fastballs. I'm like, how you throw a fastball and it's a big giant crescent slash? I'm just like, huh? You sit up here, you threw 6 suns at a fool. I'm just like, why? But wait, it's Sentai. I'm like, I'm trying out, cause like, yeah, I mentioned Mario. You know what I'm saying? That the Mario baseball games where you do them dumb pitches. It's other games that let you do that stuff, but I can't think of them right now. Like, I'm like, cause again, I mentioned a whole bunch of baseball games in the middle of this. That's for filler. But I'm trying to really think before we get up out of here. Is there any like real baseball games that I haven't mentioned either in passing or just mentioned straight up here? Like, we gonna play some Super Baseball 2020 on this channel, because that game is amazing. It's amazing in a special way, and I just love some Super Baseball 2020. Now, that's just me. I just love Super Baseball 2020, and I always have. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you could like, Super Baseball 2020 is like the first SNK game I really loved, because it was like, because this was before I really got familiar with their fighters. Like, when I think about when I played a whole lot of Super Baseball 2020, I already played a whole bunch of Fatal Fury Special on SNES and really didn't make those connections and things, but I'm like, I love me some Super Baseball, dog. I love me some Super Baseball 2020. Now, that game is off the meter. I'm like, I mentioned in passing, but yo, the original Ken Griffey on SNES, that's my jam. That is my jam, boy. Like, yo, I'm triple the G.O.D, a.k.a. Nick Nohart, son. That show you how throwback I get down. I'm just letting you know what the been on ill. What the been on ill. He like, what the been on ill? What the been on ill? You know what I'm saying? Oh boy. But yo, I don't know how much more of this episode I really can do without naming more baseball games that I would love to actually play. And I'm trying to think of some, like, Slugfest. Like, I really didn't play a lot of Slugfest. I should. I should play the Slugfest games before they went and did all that sim stuff with, like, NFL Blitz that no one liked. No one liked the sim stuff from NFL Blitz. I'm like, NBA Showtime was weird. They had fouls, and I was just like, I love the music. You know what I'm saying? I love you can do an alley-oop to yourself, but fouls are weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, in NFL Blitz, I'm like, yo, I want to play the Blitz, the league games on 360. I want to play those. I always wanted to, but never had the time. But I think I might try to sit up and see if I can get me a copy of Slugfest on eBay or something. Just so I can figure out, like, what's, like, the last decent game that they had, because when I think about it, I don't think EA Sports Big had a MLB equivalent, because you had NBA Street, NFL Street, you had FIFA Street. I think at some point they came out with a Rugby Street, if I'm not mistaken, over there in the Europas. You know what I'm saying? They might have. I think there may have been some super crazy handball game at some point. Might have been some cricket thing, but I don't think the MLB ever got anything. But like, the MLB is weird with their license, and then you got the No Fun League, and the NBA wants you to wear suits all the time, so there's that too. But yeah, I have done more talking about baseball and video games in general than I have the actual episode. And yes, for the record, I am a baseball fan when the World Series is on. Like, I don't want to watch 162 games, get to the point. But that's how I am with all sports. I'm like I used to be really into sports. Like, for real, I used to be really into sports, and then I'm really into Sports Center, so I know what people talk about at the lunch table when I get to school. You do your best. I'm like, the only thing like I was really into the NBA. Like, when me and moms used to watch it, like we used to make a thing every year of watching the Final Four and stuff like that. That was our thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Mom, she loved the Fab Five, all that other good stuff. But we getting supremely off topic. Let me get this episode. It was a baseball episode. Sanji JR got his come up. People got dumped on and just crazy stuff happened. And you should go Google what Rock and Jock is and just let it be. How about I go ahead, I release y'all and send y'all to lunch and recess. How about that? We'll be right back with some more work, so I suggest staying tuned. So, put those lab coats up. Put them in your cubby holes. Make sure you are not just keep yourself clean and stay away from the L experiments. Because if you catch an L breaking something over there, you on your own. Get up out of here. We'll be right back in a minute. You know what it is, though. It's the one and the only Professor L, live in the LAB, live on Team GRF TV, and I'd like to thank you for joining me for another installment of Trip with a Guy Speaks On, and all I can really say is this: Super Sega Chain!